Warning, warning. Two idiots are contacting DJ Cactus over the intercom. Please DM Darnell for further instructions.
Hello and welcome back to Discovering SCP. We haven't got a gimmick this time, I'm sorry. There's no guests.
We don't?
We're never going to have a guest again, to be frank. It's almost over. This is the penultimate episode. There's not many SCPs left. Darnell's not really feeling it anymore. He actually hates SCP.
I do hate SCP.
I'm not even the real Tanhony, I'm just an actor.
This is where we... Jesus. This is where we announce the new podcast, Discovering Holders, which will never
That's pretty much this podcast by this point.
He's lying for those of you who can't tell.
It's actually a Holders false flag operation.
We've refused to stop the podcast until we're the longest running SCP podcast in existence.
Are we the longest running SCP
We're close,
podcast?
I think. You said there was maybe one guy ahead of us, but you didn't specify who they were, so I couldn't look them up.
Well, if I said it, it must be true.
So that's the goal. Anyway, I thought there was going to be a theme because I was going to bring up, Tan was mentioning the other day about like Japanese ghost stories. How they're so bizarre because there's like one specific thing you have to do to save yourself, and some of them you can't. Sometimes there's just a toilet ghost and you're fucked. But
yeah, the toilet ghosts are always the worst ones.
Yeah, but there'll be ghosts and you have to do something very specific, like toss a bottomless barrel at someone or like ask a specific question, and then you get away. So I thought the theme was going to be like Japanese ghost story-esque SCPs.
Well, you're wrong, to be frank.
Damn. Where like an SCP comes at you and you have to be like, swipe or no swiping, and then it won't kill you.
Well, like Tinder?
Yeah.
That's my timely reference from 3 years ago.
Wow, you're so up to date.
Thank you, I know. But we are here with an SCP. We're
How many do we have today?
An SCP, so one. I'll clap for you.
Oh fuck, it's gonna be a long one. Remember when we used to do like 4 short ones and it was super like...
Remember back when we were in Series 1? Back like 60 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Can you see through all those rose-tinted glasses you're wearing?
It's all... Well, we used to do like 4 or 5 short ones. Now it's always 1 or 2 long ones. Are there no more short SCPs in the modern day? Are there only long ones?
They're not allowed to. There's a minimum word count now.
Is there actually? Is that real?
No, there isn't.
Fake? I was going to say that'd be so dumb. Sorry, it has to be at least a 3-page article.
That's what they'd have you believe on like fucking SCP Reddit. I'm sorry to anyone who browses the SCP Reddit.
I'm not. Fucking have a backbone. Screw those people.
Whoa.
I don't even know who they are.
SCP fans.
Yeah, I do. Except for our fans. They're really cool, and I bet
the only way to
achieve
achieve redemption is to subscribe to Discovering SCP.
That's how you'll get salvation.
Like baptism.
But yeah, we always read such long ones now. I miss the old days.
Well, I'm sorry that you're sad about reading the SCP. We gotta read the SCP. The episode's already begun.
Alright, let's read the SCP. Give me the link.
This is SCP-4812. It's called Wrath, and it's by DJ Cactus.
Does it have anything to do with the 7 sins, or is it just like, it's called Wrath because it's...
Angy.
Gotcha. And this is by Cactus. He's our good friend. And Cactus, if you're listening to this, Cactus, if you want to be on another episode, ignore what Tan said at the beginning. DM me, and we'll make it happen. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, but yeah, I would love to have you back as a guest, Cactus, if you're listening to this. Which, let's be honest, you're probably not.
Of course he is, because he's one of the good SCP fans, so he subscribed. So.
No one tell Cactus, I want to experiment. Let's see if he actually DMs Darnell. I want to know if he listens.
Yeah, please. No one tell him.
No one tell him. No one tell him. We need to know for sure. But anyway, let's go for DJ Cactus. Let's read this DJ Cactus SCP.
Let's do it.
By order of the Overseer Council, the following file is Level 4, 4812 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden. Level 4 secrets. Containment class C below. Disruption class Etchy. Risk class danger.
Etchy? Yamero? Please. Baka.
We've got some... Why don't you describe what were these images?
Alright, we've got the depths of hell. It's like a night vision cave. We've got a burning building. I'm pretty sure that's just... I I don't know. And then we've got a very small object in the sky with like a YouTube red circle thumbnail thing over it. So
let's see what
and the letters are -S, -E, and -K.
Pictured left to right.
Yeah.
Entrance to SCP-4812-S's containment area, 500-meter checkpoint.
That's the cave one.
SCP-412-E's containment vault at Site 80.
That's the
E.
flaming one.
Yeah. Early file image of SCP-K being pursued by Soviet jet fighters. That's the rightmost.
So, yeah, who knows what this is?
Designation Memorandum. We've not had this before. Due to the unique nature of the SCP-S, E, and K's relationship, a singular object designation is used to denote the three entities as a group. However, each are considered their own individual anomalies and are described within this file as such. Classification Memorandum. Due to the unique nature of -S, -E, and -K, each entity has been assigned an individual containment class. -S is for safe.
Okay.
Pending further evaluation. -E is for Euclid, as of 8/20/2003. -K is for Kita, pending evaluation as it's currently uncontained.
Oh
and
no.
blank, see Addendum 4.
No. Alright, so already
generals.
we've got something weird. Yeah, more like the 3 demon generals and their one unspeakable boss.
The Demon King.
This is already very interesting, though. I'm curious what this trinity is up to.
Let's find out. Special containment procedures for -S. SCP-S is contained at its location of discovery. The entrance to the cave containing it is to be sealed by 3 maximum security vault doors. Entrance to SCP-S's site of containment is forbidden to any individuals without proper credentials. Under no circumstances should it be exposed to any amount of light. The SCP is to be interacted with only by members of the fully blind MTF Vestus 12, Northern Star.
It's kind of progressive for them to have a whole MTF squad made up of blind people.
Exactly.
And then USCP.
Heartwarming. This secret conspiracy employs the blind. Diversity win.
Oh,
Under
man.
no circumstances should -S be exposed to either -E or -K. And then for -E. So what do we think about the -S-verse, maybe?
I don't fucking know. It's in a cave and it can't be light, so maybe it's like a Pokemon that knows Solar Beam.
Well, it also has a fully blind MTF interacting with it only, so...
Maybe it's something related to Peanut, then? I don't fucking know.
This guy hates
I'm
SCP.
curious. No, I just genuinely... It's so vague. How can you... other than it can't be looked at, can you extract anything, you know? There's not enough clues for this yet.
Okay. -E is contained within a thermally controlled vault at Site 80. Due to the nature of -E's anomalous capabilities, its containment chamber must be kept at a constant 1,400 degrees Celsius. Ooh, toasty.
Oh, this thing definitely freezes everything around it. It's the freeze boy.
-E itself is contained within a tank of molten iron. Direct maintenance of -E's containment chamber must take place outside the cell due to the intense heat within. Special remote drones equipped with hafnium carbide exteriors as we use to maintain the interior of -E's containment cell. A drop in internal temperature of more than 50 degrees Celsius must be considered a breach of containment. Under no other circumstances should -E be exposed to either -S or -K.
So right now it seems like they have S and E contained. K is the one that's out, so they just have to make sure it doesn't get to the other two, right?
Exactly. That's why they've created the EVAs.
So this is interesting because it adds a whole new level of containment, because it's not just keeping some of them in, it's keeping one of them out.
-K is currently uncontained. Due to the location of nature of -K, it's unlikely that its existence will be exposed, but caution must be taken in ensuring that any information pertaining to the entity is suppressed. Foundation information security assets to monitor web traffic for any images, accounts, or recordings of -K. Further research onto the nature of -K is required to prevent additional exposure should the entity present itself on Earth once again. Under no circumstances...
No, sorry, finish.
Under no circumstances should -K be exposed to its S and E.
So, interesting when it mentions, like, monitoring web traffic. You know, like, the meme of, like, you have your FBI guy?
Yeah, your SCP
Do you think NSA agents have, like, their Foundation guy who, like, watches over them and taps their info?
He's just
man, I sure hope he's okay. He's had to look at a lot of bad memes today.
Okay, and we have an image here before we get to the description. We have a victim of Dash S. Recovered
It
from
looks like a
some-
skeleton, but with really long legs and no torso.
I think that's the camera angle, but I see what you mean.
Yeah,
like an
probably.
Among Us
But
skeleton.
I like my. Yeah, he does. I like that version way
How
back.
deep does it go?
Boom, boom.
Recovered from within the subterranean cavern the entity was discovered in. Due to the condition of the skeleton, it's likely the victim died over 300 years ago. God damn.
Sus.
Now description. SCP-4812 is the group designation for three anomalous entities, -S, -E, and -K, and a series of recovered documents, -1, that describe them. Let's read the description for -S.
So I'm curious: are these ones the -1, or is that the addendum?
That's the info, that's the documentation.
Okay, so this is just the proper documentation we're about to read.
Yeah. So
Alright.
-S is a large amorphous entity located in a subterranean cavern near Alais, France. -S is attached to the walls of its cavern by a large number of long, adhesive-covered appendages that extend out the main mass of the entity. Similar appendages cover its entire body. The majority are curled and tucked up to its central mass. Each of the appendages, and indeed -S's entire body, is covered in fine, hydrophobic hair. -S is a Class 8 visual hazard. Any living being that perceives it visually will experience a violent biological reaction that is invariably fatal.
You know the
Threats-
motherfuckers that had to write this report died. Oh, that's sad.
Well, there's no
yeah, because
pictures, though.
it doesn't say anything about light. It's just if you observe it.
Well, you need light to observe it.
Yeah, but they had to observe it somehow to write this description. No.
Just get a feel. Direct visual perception of -S is akin to exposure of the eyes, brain, and nervous system to an extremely caustic acid.
Actually,
Effective-
sorry to interrupt again, but you know how fucked it is to work for the Foundation? You could do your whole life, do everything right in SCP,
And then you
and the
looked
one you
at
encounter...
the higher guy.
Yeah! It just so happens to be the new anomaly you're investigating is a visual hazard, and then you're just
And it
dead.
just kills you.
Like, actually
effect of
fuck the
that-
SCP world.
The effect of -S is immediate and cannot be avoided once exposed. Victims will experience severe pain, bleeding through the skin and orifices, paralysis, asphyxiation, and eventually death. The effect persists across all visual media, as images and video recordings of the SCP all carry the same effect, though slightly less immediate and violent. Uh-oh, Kaktusverse, you made an error. SCP-4812-S, I think you mean. Number one author? Weird.
Alright, so Cactus, that's pretty
I hope to God Cactus is not watching this, but he will actually
I
kill
hope
me.
he is. It would be so funny.
I will die.
He's just like,
He'll kill me.
I can't wait for him to go through all your articles and find
I'm
every
going to get
typo
pinged
you
on
made.
Discords.
You're already getting pinged in the middle of the recording before it's out. What would you do right now if
Sorry.
Cactus pinged you and he just said something like "sussy boy"? Right now.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I'd be very frightened that Cactus was saying that regardless of context. But anyway, let's continue. Due to the nature of -S, it is unknown what the entity's true appearance is. Individuals interacting with -S must do so in total darkness and wearing airtight suits, as even the minute and imperceptible amount of light naturally emitted by human beings is enough to trigger the effect of -S.
Is that real? Do people actually emit light? I'm gonna have to look that up later.
I trust Cactus. It's unknown how light interacts with the surface of -S, as any individual who has looked at it for any amount of time has already died. Even the hairs on -S's body, when shaved and exposed to light, create a similar, albeit lessened, effect. Exposure to the hairs and to light typically results in severe nausea, hallucinations, and swelling of the eyes and brains. While this is not necessarily fatal if exposure is limited and subject is given immediate medical attention, this exposure is still extremely dangerous and nearly always results in death. Consult your doctor before taking. That's the main body of the entity. -S's ability is contained by darkness, as humans are capable of interacting with the entity if they cannot perceive it visually.
I'm a being of darkness. You wouldn't understand me, so you better stay out.
No, now I know for sure. Kingdom Hearts is light.
Uh-oh. That's not good with this guy.
Beyond being an extreme anomalous visual hazard, -S is otherwise immobile and does not appear to react to touch or noise. -S's body is composed of organic matter, though spectral analysis has not been possible due to the nature of its anomalous makeup. It's all caked up. It's believed that -S's tendril-like appendages extend deep into the earth around the cavern in which it's contained, though proper analysis of this has been difficult. I mean,
Here's
that's
a
not
thought.
that. It's not that bad, I guess. He just doesn't do anything.
If these anomalies can never interact with each other, wouldn't the safest thing to do just be to neutralize two of them?
But the research potential.
Fuck the research potential. What are you really learning from the thing you can't look at and examine in any meaningful way?
Imagine if
what are you
could
really
work
getting from
armor
that?
to become an ultimate being.
I mean, have they... also with things like this, why don't they just show 682 to this guy? Then 682 can look at him and die.
Oh, you know what will happen. He'll adapt to it and be like, what an amusing attempt to kill me.
Yeah, then the SCP will look at him and it will die instead.
No, they'll die. You're like, I'll use your power for my own. And then they'll like make a vague lore reference that the guy writing the test log thought would be cool. That doesn't fit with any of the lore references.
682 log writers BTFO
the time I was in King Arthur's court.
682 test log writers eternally back the fuck up.
They called me the questing beast.
I almost spat out my fucking drink.
I'm sorry, this is now completely unrelated to the SCP.
It was funny, though.
-E is a large humanoid entity composed primarily of platinum, with traces of tungsten and other metallic compounds. -E's features are vaguely skeletal in appearance, though when in containment they are not visible due to the effect of high temperature on its metallic body. -E is a near-perfect heat sink.
It's like the Terminator.
I guess so, but more of just like actual skeleton, I guess. Is a near-perfect heat sink. The temperature of his body when uncontained maintains a constant 0.0000031 K.
That's nearly absolute. They're just trying to tell you it's almost absolute zero. Yeah. So like as cold as it gets, which is what I guessed when I said it had to be covered in lava all the time.
This guy. -E does not experience thermal exchange. Instead of acting in a way that would eventually reach thermal equilibrium, -E absorbs energy at a net loss to its surroundings.
Wait, this thing's fucking up entropy? Actually, no, wouldn't it be curing entropy?
This guy, he's a hero. The rate
why are we containing him? He could save the world. He could absorb all the carbon in the atmosphere.
The rate at which this occurs is extremely rapid, and -E is capable of reducing a 10 meter by 10 meter by 10 meter containment cell at room temperature to nearly absolute zero in roughly 16 seconds. I guess because it would kill everyone. Due to this, -E is continuously surrounded by an opaque field of frozen air and water, and its true appearance is impossible to see unless exposed to high temperatures. That's so menacing. Damn. Exposure to -E is nearly invariably lethal. Subjects are exposed to it, usually succumb in seconds as the temperature of the air around them plummets and the water within their bodies freezes.
Here's what's interesting to me, though. They keep filling him with lava to, like, keep him contained, but if all he does is absorb energy at a net loss, won't this cause global cooling by just, like, necessity?
I guess.
So, like, aren't they just kind of fucking the environment by keeping him alive?
I guess. Even heavily insulated protective suits will only allow the wearer moments of protection from the expected exposure. -E's effect may be mitigated, however, by exposure to extreme heat. While -E's effect is rapid when uncontained, if exposed to extremely high temperatures, -E's effect weakens substantially. This has made -E containable so long as the entity is contained under constant.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
It's less like it just takes him longer, more like it's his kryptonite.
Okay, because I was gonna say, with the way they describe the speed of like how it freezes, it would just quickly cool the whole world down. But that makes more sense.
-K is a massive silver-winged insectoid, bearing similarities to both stag beetles and scorpions.
Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I'm about to throw a long shot, right?
Okay.
And this is all because I heard stag beetle and scorpion. Okay. SEK, sure, that's safe Euclid counter, but it's also sec. And with the mention of beetle, do you think it has something to do with, like, Sekhmet?
I don't know. Well, I've read this before, so I do know. What?
Sekhmet is... I thought that was the scarab god. Never mind. It's the lion goddess. I was completely off. I thought Sekhmet was the scarab. I thought I had something there. Never mind. False alarm.
-K is roughly 180 metres in length, with 6 appendages, the forward 2 leading to large pincers, and a long segmented tail ending in a pointed, serrated barb. However, in place of insectoid mouth and eyes, -K has the face of a man no larger than that of a typical human male.
Wait, is this just Perfect Cell?
What do you think Perfect Cell looks like? It's a 180 metre long beetle with a human face in the end.
Yeah. Well, not Perfect Cell, sorry. Imperfect Cell. Imperfect Cell. The one where he was still, like, all buggy. You remember? He had, like, the orange mouth.
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z. Let me Google Imperfect Cell. The size... There's still a size difference. I think what it means is it has, like, a normal human face on the end of the...
But you see, like, the stinger, right? And what I'm going for here with the wings?
I guess I see what you mean. But it's not even humanoid, is the thing. It's just a giant beetle.
Oh, wait, no. Then you're looking at the wrong thing. Here, let me show you what I'm looking at.
I'm looking at imperfect. Is that what you're looking at?
It's humanoid. What are you talking about? You're looking at the wrong thing. Here, this is what he looks like.
Yeah, but the SCP isn't humanoid, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I got confused. My bad.
It's a giant beetle scorpion.
Never mind. Alright, continue.
With a human face on the end. Dash K has 4 wings that extend over its back, and its entire body is covered in a thick, highly reflective biological chitin. Yeah, you can guess what. Dash K spends the overwhelming majority of its time in the upper stratosphere, where it rarely moves in any perceptible way except to flap its wings to maintain altitude. The existence of Dash K was not realised until the discovery of Dash 1, due in part to Dash K's near invisibility, due to reflective silver chitin. I tried to say both at once that time. Its body is composed of, and the fact that Dash K produces no heat and does not reflect sound.
Wait, the second one absorbs heat as well. Are they all, like, supposed to be super cold or something?
This one's just, like, absence of heat, I guess.
Huh.
And its high rate of speed as it travels. Dash K routinely reaches speeds in excess of 800 kilometers an hour. Dash K does not respond to attempts to communicate with it and will engage vehicles that draw too close to it, within roughly 700 meters.
Imagine being a plane that gets in that poor bastard's range.
Several attempts have been made to secure Dash K in order to move it to a containment cell, however all attempts have thus far failed. Fighter jets and remote assault drones have been able to keep pace with the entity, but are easily incapacitated by the entity's raw physical strength and size. Additionally, no weaponry used on Dash K to date has been able to damage it in any perceptible way. On the contrary, anything that strikes the entity seemingly rebounds with the same kinetic energy as it did on approach, leading researchers to believe that Dash K is in some way a near-perfect reflector.
His invincible technique. Perfect deflect. Perfect parry.
One cannot be looked at, one cannot be heated, and one cannot be attacked. The Three Brothers.
Then that's what the reveal should be. It's not that he reflects everything like on his own, but he's so well trained that he can perfect parry any attack.
Why don't you take over for the addendum? Because I just read like a novel.
Sure, tag in. Addendum 4812.1. Contents of SCP-4812-1. Dash 1 is a series of recovered documents and artifacts recovered from a collection of anomalous items previously held by Dutch collector Marcus de Wees before his death. This collection, given... What?
De Wees.
More like de Wee. Wee. This collection, given the name...
Apologies to the estate of Mr. de Wees.
This collection, given the name the Conington Set, likely named after 18th century English archaeologist and occultist Winston J. Conington, whose research led Foundation agents to the discovery of 2254, blank, blank, and blank, contains the following items. 16 coins of various shapes and sizes, none of which account for any known denomination of currency. 5 papyrus scrolls, Egyptian in origin, that... Maybe I wasn't so far off with the Egypt thing. That appear to be ancient star maps. Analysis of these maps indicate that there were once notes written in the margins. However, these notes have been bleached out and are no longer decipherable. 3 large tomes bound in leather-wrapped hardwood, penned in German, full of what appears to be archaic coordinates. One of the books also marks changes in temperature. These books were seemingly written over the course of many years. A brass spyglass with a cracked crystal lens. A piece of the cracked lens is missing. Looking through the spyglass, several small ornate mechanisms are visible within. Excuse me. However, they appear to have been damaged in the past and are no longer functional. A thick burlap sack that apparently contains at least 3 more consecutive burlap sacks within a thick, gelatinous mass at its center. Looking at the sack tends to make subjects feel ill and suffer from a slight burning sensation behind the eye, so probably whatever S was made of.
Or maybe it's like a scoop of him.
Interesting. A pair of glasses with iron frames and solid iron lenses. One of the lenses is damaged. When worn by human subjects, a slight glow is visible through the iron lenses when looking at the burlap sack.
Ether lens!
Ether lens! A thin circlet made of gold and platinum has 3 prongs situated around the entire ring, 2 of which appear to have been broken off near the base. The third contains a small glass sphere that is warm to the touch, probably meant for E. A journal written by Winston J. Conington contains depictions of all 3 SCP-4812 entities and the personal research of Dr. Conington himself.
I'll take over when the research comes in.
Okay. Sorry. Am I not doing a good enough job?
No, I just mean, like, I don't want to, make you read too much of it.
Good. You better not.
So
of the 3 tomes containing coordinates... What?
I was saying, do this
What'd
last
you say?
paragraph, though.
Oh, yeah. Of the 3 tomes containing coordinates, the second has a short section written in Italian by, presumably, a different author than the rest of the tome. Footnote, the second tome is believed to be the only tome that has a single author. The beginning of the section is a list of names and dates with an orthodox dating system. Many of the dates are written with another number beside the year, such as 1343-89, listed next to the name Tornold of Yair. After the list of names comes a section where the author appears to have been listing notes to include in the longer section that comes afterwards. The translated text of the longer section is available below.
Oh, brave undeads. No. Of all those old kingdoms and empires whose names were lost to the passing of time or the cruel mechanisms of their enemies, perhaps none is greater or spoken with more respect than that of the great House of Apollyon, the Sky Kings of old Europe. The first of those great kings, Harry I von Apollyon, is said to have descended from the blood of the King of Crimson Skies, often called Assem, the First Man, a legendary figure in the writings of the three archmaesters of King Richard the Lionheart's court. The text cuts off abruptly here, but continues in the next paragraph. A mark is made at the end of that line as if to note it for revision.
Real quick, Apollyon, isn't that also like a classification?
It is, yes.
Is that related on purpose, or was the classification name from another myth that this is calling back to?
These are two separate things, usually, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% on that. Cactus, perhaps you can, if you are listening to this, and after you've killed me, perhaps you can enlighten us.
Nice.
The Sky Kings are said to have ruled old Europe for 100 generations, though they faced opposition from the Deva to the east and those faithful to the Iron God in the south. Their kingdom never faltered and their conquests were fruitful. It was the conquered foes of the House of Apollyon who first named the king Idus I von Apollyon Sky King.
I gotta say, fucking in SCP with all these old civilizations, it was a lot more chuny, you know what I mean? You had like the Sarkics, you had the Mechanists, you had the Deva, you now have the Sky Kings. Like, it seems like they had way more cool shit going on.
For it was said his reach extended past the bounds of the earth and into the heavens above. However, over time came also complacency. In the 890th year of their rule, the Sky King Cyrus VII von Apollyon is said to have grown bored with...
But you were close.
What?
I said the 8th.
Oh, yeah. The
Hello?
8th von Apollyon is said to have grown bored of ruling and demanded a conquest of another, greater realm beyond their own. In his arrogance, he looked past the lands of man and towards those across the sea, where the fur folk were said to live.
Oh, that's the Fae, right?
Yeah. The Sky King boarded his ships and, with the largest army ever assembled, drove with fury across the waves towards the continent to the west. The fur folk, consumed with their own conflict with the emergent power of the Children of the Moon to their south, did not expect the arrival of Apollyon and were consumed in a fortnight, their people scattered and their nobility stripped down and mutilated, in accordance with the customs of the conquerors.
How come every single... So for how powerful
the
the
furries
Fae
are always fucking going through it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for how powerful the Fae seem to be in SCP setting, they literally lose every battle they're mentioned in. Do they ever win anything?
The Fae is fucking suffering in SCP.
It's true.
So Children of the Moon as well, I believe that referring to the Bigfoots.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, usually it's Children of the Night, so I don't know if there's significance to the slight difference here. Only a single survivor of the brutality, a Fae princess, was brought back in iron chains across the sea to suffer further horrors.
Oh.
The princess, though, had no intentions of arriving on the far shores of old Europe. As the king's fleet passed the great eye of the sea, she cast a wicked and wild spell upon the House of Apollyon, and the Sky King in particular. As a storm came upon them and brought many men and ships to the bottom of the sea, the princess prayed to an old and nameless god for vengeance upon her captors. Legend says the princess's iron chains caught fire and burned the king's flagship to cinders, and that Cyrus VIII himself was dragged into the deep by those same chains as he tried to throw them overboard.
So, 2 questions. 1, when do you think Europe got the second E? And 2, how do you pray to a nameless god? Like, because I'm sure there's more than one in this setting. How do you choose?
Description, I guess.
Character select.
Well, I guess. Well, if for the Fae, I guess nameless might have even like a different meaning there.
Right, because they don't
important.
do names. Yeah.
The fleet, however, did return to old Europe, with a young Cyrus as the ninth von Apollyon now ruled his father's kingdom. As retribution for the curse the princess had cast upon his father, Seraph the Ninth threw the princess into a dungeon deep beneath the earth and buried it, leaving her to rot eternally in the darkness.
Was that the one we read where they were like in the weird biosphere things?
No. I don't know what you're talking about, but this is a little self-contained.
You know, remember we read the Titania, there was like the green, there was like these little spheres they were in?
Thing. It's the same sort of Kaktusverse, but it's a different thing from this.
Right. Okay. Just wanted to see.
Afterwards, as a bulwark against the dark magics of the furfolk that his father's conquest may have brought upon his house, Seraph the Ninth appointed 4 great knights to defend his kingdom.
4 demon kings?
They were Lahia the Fierce, Lancelot the Cunning, Hector the Stalwart, and Ogier the Faithful. But the princess, the text ends here, and no additional continuation of this narrative has yet been discovered.
Oh my god, he actually had 4 demon kings. That's so pog. Lahia the Fierce, Lancelot the Cunning, Hector the Stalwart, Ogier the Faithful.
While many of the other items are generally unremarkable, of particular interest to researchers is the journal of Dr. Connington. The majority of the text in the journal is written in a cipher, with very few sections, usually small notes that are not relevant to the rest of the text, that are written in German. A few short sections have been translated, due to a section of the cipher being inscribed on the inside of one of the larger tomes. The text contained therein has been translated and is available below. Why don't you read some of this next bit?
Oh jeez, this is long. This is a
we can
long
pop it back
SCP
today.
picked. The archivist of that great house named the first of the great profanities in the 6 chapters of the reign of the King Cyrus the Ninth von Apollyon when he wrote, "Sorrowful was the Sky King Apollyon when the voice of the enemy beneath the earth spoke to the souls of his knights, and he did banish them each. The long night settled over his kingdom, and the winter winds came from the east, but Hector did not answer. Down from the far darkness come the Venuvinics, what they call the profane restrictor, the first of the great profanities. The Venuvinics cast a cold hand across the king's only daughter, and in her youth and weakness she did die. The king took upon him the godless lance, and came down to the Venuvinics, and with nothing but the mammoth's hide between him and the infinite cold, drove that sacred spear into the Venuvinics, and put it into the flaming heart of the earth." I'm assuming the Venuvinics was the always cold one, right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Fucking, I can imagine the Dark Souls boss bar coming up, the profane restrictor. Venuvinics.
It's just like coming from the earth.
Unkindled, have you heard what lies in the heart of the castle?
Oh god, this really does have a cool Dark Souls vibe to it. I kind of dig that. The star maps vexed me, but tracing them in the sky and following the movement of the star that cannot be seen. The fact that that's bolded makes me think it's a reference. I caught but for a moment a glimpse of the face of the one that Lahire had called the profane adamant. The text does not name it, but the David to the east had a name for that star, what they call the Lemonellant, or the King of Many Faces. 3 accounts of the Orator Magister of the David King describe the Lemonellant, the profane adamant in the tongue of the great house, appearing as if from a space beyond spaces to the kingdom's ruination. He writes the following: "The binders of blood made empty pacts with empty gods against the hollow Lemonellant, and they were cut down. The singers of song had their voices pulled from their throats, and the legions of their twilight armies broke first their spears against the Lemonellant's hide, and then their bodies. And when they had been ground into dust beneath the profane adamant's clattering steps, it took their faces and returned to the skies." Of note, the author here sometimes refers the name Lancelot when it seems as if Lemonellant would be more appropriate. This may be a mistake or mistranslation. Thinking emoji. And then I'll popcorn to you.
The last of the profanities that lay upon the doom of the House of Apollyon was one with no depiction in any text, save for a black smear. This was the king of horrors, the profane dark, the one that festered in the enemy's grave until it soaked through the earth and burst forth like a fetid tide.
Oh, is this -S?
I guess it sounds like it, yeah, because there's no even picture of it. The curse of the Sky King's lips as it pulled him into the void called this great terror Yash, all caps Yash, the last foe of man. That's a fucking badass title.
That's so dope.
Without Lahire's sword, Lancelot's mace, Hector's spear, or Ogier's faith, the full might of the sullen sorrow was brought to bear upon Apollyon's broken heart, which shattered with his ruined kingdom. Wrath, he spoke. Wrath, wrath, wrath.
Oh, that's the title of the SCP.
Yeah. I have seen the face of the Lemonellants, though only for a moment, and know of the fiery chasm in which the Vivunavek seethes, but I dare not seek out Yash, the profane dark. The last scroll of the writings of Cayman of Sicil say, but the eyes of Yash offer no release into death, only the winding roads of torment that lead to the puller of eyes and sharpener of spines, where no man returns and no voices are heard. The castle of fire, the king of crimson skies, the reaper of dreams flee from the eyes of Yash, the last scream of the nameless folk beyond the sea. Men scream out and are silenced. The light of the sun invites order to the most fundamental nature of this world, and the Yash abhors it. Wrath, wrath, wrath.
So what's interesting is I'm assuming this one is I assume the Laminellin is the fly guy, right?
Yeah.
And Yash is the cave one. But what is this fourth mystery one that was listed earlier in Redacted?
Exactly.
Is that Wrath?
Let's find out. Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
-K. This is Addendum 2, Containment of the Entities.
Oh my god, there's still so much.
Look at that fucking picture.
Yeah, it's like a beam of energy. What would you call that?
being engaged by Global Coalition defense systems.
Wow,
I
they have
think I said
some
a bad
cool
word
defense
there instead of a
systems.
cult. Please forgive me.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I don't want to say it again.
Well, we know he meant to say a cult. He probably just slipped his tongue.
I said a cult, but I used a different letter instead of L.
Oh, whatever. You're British, so you're allowed to say
It's not as
that
bad
word.
here, so, but if any of you fancy Americans hear that, I'm sorry about your feelings.
Literally, everyone knows it was a slip of the tongue. If they got offended, they're dumb.
They probably would have noticed if I hadn't even said anything.
Yeah,
-K has been
probably
known
not.
to the Foundation since 1964, when it was confused for an experimental US air vehicle while crossing over the northern USSR. After being engaged by Soviet fighters over the Truckee Sea, -K, that's almost certainly not how it's pronounced, -K rapidly ascended to stratospheric heights and disappeared from sight entirely. Shortly thereafter, the entity re-engaged the fighters at high speeds, quickly destroying them. Since
Is
then,
this big bug just Tower of Grey?
Since then, -K has only been detected on a handful of occasions, usually while passing low enough to be detected visually due to distortions caused by light reflecting against its chitinous exterior.
There you
Notably, -K appears to follow a vague path, often passing over the containment sites of both -S and -E, as well as the blank 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 see Addendum -4. The significance of this is see Addendum -4.
go. Oh no. Then
-E
4's where
was-
shit goes down.
-E was discovered shortly after the acquisition of -1, when a Foundation Discovery team investigating a set of coordinates noted in the third tome discovered a thermal anomaly beneath a lake near blank. Further investigation of the site disrupted the Earth and opened a small fissure beneath the lake, which drained lake water into the opening. Shortly afterwards, the site experienced a significant drop in temperature as -E, which had previously been trapped in a thermal vent beneath the lake, ascended to the surface, smashing the fucking guys walking up, freezing everything.
Ah, you've awakened me.
We have to send the Eva.
Oh, no.
Shinji must pilot it. The Discovery team immediately evacuated the site, and MTF Arc 11, Light 'em Up, was scrambled to the site to engage the -E entity. However, due to the rapidly falling temperatures and increasingly dangerous atmospheric conditions being generated at the site, Arc 11 was forced to maintain distance and use long-range artillery weapons to impede its progress as it marched towards the nearest population centre.
No.
That's like the spookiest thing an entity can do, just march towards the population centre at like a slow speed. After several hours of shelling over 8 kilometres of land, -E was finally contained when a controlled gas explosion was generated near the entity, followed by an immediate drop of molten slag over it by a remote carrier drone. The slag-covered -E was moved into a mobile electromagnetic kiln and transported to the thermal-controlled deep well vault at Site 80. SCP-S was included in the notes of Foundation Administrator Frederick Williams as a location of interest, and it's been at least vaguely understood since the formation of Foundation precursor occult investigation groups. So Foundation Administrator, that's big-time lore. That's like from the note from the Administrator for the first thing we read. So it's like the founder.
So is this guy above the 05?
If he's around, usually he is. Sometimes he's dead, though. Prior to Foundation involvement, it was not known that -A...
Wait a minute, I just realized Frederick Williams is the same... Frederick Williams is the same initials as Fritz Willy. Thinking emoji.
It was not known that -S was an entity at all. Instead, many groups believed that the cave itself was hazardous to travellers, as none who entered were ever heard from again. I like how lore-wise -S is the biggest deal, but in terms of the Foundation's containment, it's the easiest one to do.
Yeah, it's the easiest one. Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. Yeah, because that's Yash, the great evil, but all you have to do is seal up a cave.
For now.
Yeah, what happens when erosion erodes the cave away?
It's sleeping. -3 SCP-K hostile activity. Can you take over for a little bit here?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to remind you that you decided to pick the super long one.
But I thought we could, tag team as friends.
Yeah, don't worry. We are friends. You're my Nakama, do you know that? And I'll always tag in for you when you need me.
I've made things proceed that way.
Wait, what?
Just read the article for me.
You thought our friendship was your choice.
Yes, our friendship has been very useful.
Alright, Addendum 3, SCP-4812-K Hostile Activity. On June 9th, 2002, 3 months after the discovery and containment of... What was that?
Sorry.
that scared me. And containment of
-E-K
was observed diverting from its anticipated path towards an area in the North Sea. A Foundation carrier division was diverted to the area where... Oh my god. Diverted to the area where -K had...
Let's divert some troops to the area, okay?
Sorry, that sniffle, totally threw me off my game. Where -K had engaged with a global occult coalition transport ship. The entity, which was unfazed by the conventional weaponry on board the GOC vessel, appeared to be attempting to breach the exterior of the ship. Of note, -K had not ever previously been observed making this sort of unprovoked hostile action, especially at such a low altitude. The Foundation carrier group immediately engaged the entity, and after a short skirmish, drove it away from the transport ship. Wait, what were they transporting that it came towards? E?
We don't know yet.
Oh. The Foundation carrier group immediately engaged the entity and... The Foundation carrier group offered assistance to the GOC vessel, but this assistance was denied and the vessel continued on its course north. Satellite imagery showed the vessel docking in a previously undisclosed port in northern Norway. This incident corresponded with 2 other events involving -E and -S. Throughout the skirmish with -K, -E became increasingly active within its containment vessel, at one point necessitating the activation of previously untested technology to further increase the temperature within the deep well vault to stabilize the entity. At the same time, several tremors were felt near the -S site, and seismographs of the area revealed that a large portion of the cave system had collapsed. Later observation of the site indicates that -S has since moved upwards no less than 70 meters.
It's climbing out. I'll drive and it.
Addendum 4, Secure Correspondence. Note the Well, the thing about these is they can be slayed by the legendary objects mentioned in the scroll, right? So you just gotta go find those. Or was I confused by the legends?
I don't think they can be slayed. I think they were just the knights sort of fucked off before they actually came out, I think.
Secure Correspondence. Note the following data entry is level 44812 classified with restrictions. Appropriate clearances are required to access this data file.
I'll take over.
Yeah. Tag.
The following secure transmission was received by Operative Intelligence Command at Site 88 after the events described in Addendum 3. The message was received under identification and credentials of Global Occult Coalition Commander Janya Lamet. Secure transmission. Do not disseminate. Global Occult Coalition Central Command. Notice. By the authority of the United Nations Security Council and the Global Occult Coalition, you are hereby forbidden from further involvement into any supernatural activity involving 3 specific paranormal entities. GC-9201, codenamed Mars, a massive winged scorpioid entity with a metallic exterior. GC-9202, codenamed Pluto, a large human-like entity that dramatically alters the total energy of the system directly surrounding it.
I like that these numbers imply that the Global Occult Coalition has encountered way more anomalies than SCP.
We really go through them.
2, I love that they have cool codenames instead of insisting on using the numbers all the time. It's kind of badass.
So yeah, they've got -K-E, and then GC-9203, codenamed Eros, a small, partially mummified, vaguely human-like entity currently in possession of Global Occult Coalition Task Force Omni 045.
That must be the redacted one.
That ain't. The SCP-4812 research team does not believe that this is one of the 3 entities described in -1. Based on information recovered by our agents, it's likely you have the Pluto entity in containment at one of your facilities. You're instructed to immediately make all efforts to destroy this entity beyond its ability to self-repair or regenerate. As directed by the Sky King Directive, you are also to turn over any information you may have regarding this entity and either of the other 2 entities described above. Attached, Memorandum of Intent from GOC Commander Met. I figure at least somewhat aware of the circumstances involved here. It's likely you were the one who ran off with Connington's estate, so you have pieces that we don't have. Chances are that goes the other way too, since nobody's come asking for what we found in the Archduke's vault. I think it's also probably likely that you're ones who dug up Pluto and now you've got him stashed somewhere hot. That's good, but there are more steps we need to take now. I applaud you for staying ahead of the curve so far. From what we've read, Pluto is a son of a bitch. I wouldn't want to be the one to figure out how to put him in a box. Here's the long and short of it. The big flying guy, the one we call Mars, we all know the Russians were the first to find it when it knocked those birds out of the sky back in the 60s. What you might not know is that they managed to get a tracker around it, a communicator, and be able to watch where it's been going for the last few years. It's looking for something. The way we figure, there are 3 of these things, right? They call them profanities. You have one, now we have one, and Mars is the 3rd.
Wait, which one do they have?
This last one they've mentioned here, the small...
The mummy.
Mummified,
but that's not Yash, so that must be the redacted
They're mistaken.
one mentioned earlier. Oh, I see.
But the writings recovered say it's looking for something else. It's looking for whoever cursed these things into existence. Now, it found Pluto when you dug out of the ground, so that's 1. Our Eros, this entity, if it exists at all, is not -S-E or -K. It found when we accidentally unearthed it a few years ago as well, so that's 2. It's the 3rd, and now it's just looking for the boss. We've been keeping an eye on it for the last few months, and it seems to be favouring someplace in France. If you don't have people searching on every rock out there to find this thing, you need to. We do. Our records say it's some sort of woman somewhere underground. We thought it might have been Eros at first, but the thing we dug up is too small to be a human woman. The physiology is all wrong too. It wasn't a human woman, my guy. Anyway, we need to make sure that Mars doesn't find this control entity. We can hurt it if we kill Eros, and you might be able to do the same if you kill Pluto. They're all connected, we figure, at least that's what the literature implies. Eros really has been a bitch to try and kill, though, so if you have any ideas there, we're willing to listen. You should do the same with yours. It's strange, though, isn't it? Mars coming down like that to get Eros. I wonder why it ever did that with Pluto. And why does it keep circling those fields in France? Met.
See, this is what I've been saying. Just kill the fuckers.
Let's try it. It's not so easy.
The last addendum. Do you have this, or do you want me to do it?
You want to do it?
Sure. Addendum-5 internal memo. We've confirmed what we fear. They don't know it, but they found her. We have teams currently en route to the SCP-4812-S site. We're going to dump 50 meters of lead and concrete on top of it. It's going to be your job to find a way to shoot that thing out of the sky. Get to work. Lament. Who's Lament?
He's an agent, I believe.
Oh, but he sounds like Lementella. Ooh.
Wait, what?
Remember they called the bug Lementella in the scriptures?
I don't think...
Oh, sorry, Lemonelland.
Yeah, that's a stretch there.
My bad.
But yeah.
Anyway, so what do they mean by this? Does that imply that Eros is one of the things?
So what Eros, what the GOC think is that those are the 3 profanities that they've got listed there: big scorpion,
right.
Big cold human, little mummy entity. But the last one isn't one of the profanities. That's the Fey Princess's body, which the fly is looking for.
Oh.
So it knows we have it. That's why it came down to the boat. But that's not important.
And she's the one that made the profanities, right?
She prayed to the nameless god, and they came out. Yeah.
So would killing her get rid of them?
Well, she's dead. It's a partially mummified human-like entity. Well, actually...
Well, no, they said they've been trying to kill her and they can't.
Oh, I never realized that.
Eros really has been a bitch to try and kill, they said.
You're exactly right. I misread that the whole time. I thought she was a corpse. Huh. But no, yes, so that's the fake princess. And they're thinking, yeah, we got them all.
Alright, upvote from me. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I liked it. It's a little long, but I kind of like the world building it digs into, all the stuff going on.
I just want to say as well, in case this colours anything for you, this is sort of like a big world-building article for what will later be built on a lot of other Actus articles.
That's what I figured. That's why I gave it some slack with the rating, because I assumed this was meant to be like a foundation for more articles instead of its own necessary standalone thing.
I think it stands pretty well still. But, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's very much world-building rather than an SCP. It sets a scene, it sets up a history, it sets up a trifecta rather than a single thing. It establishes a relationship with the GOC.
You know what? We actually read 3 SCPs.
Yeah. I gave it an upvote. I like it. I can't really give criticism to it because it was so long that I kind of got a little bit in and out at parts. But, you know, it was well written as always. Cactus does a great job. I love his world building. I like that in Cactus SCPs you can kind of see recurring themes. What with how he uses the Fae, and he kind of has sort of a fantasy-esque writing style for a lot of them. Not for everyone. He's got quite a wide range, kind of like Hippo. But you know what I mean? You can kind of really dig into his style.
It becomes very fantasy, though.
Yeah, and he always has like the really cool formatting at the beginning. Good job, Cactus. A+. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good. I really enjoy the Cactus like verse that starts to come together in some of these later ones, which we'll hopefully be able to get to as we go on.
Yeah, and if you're reading Cactus, sorry I bitched about the length, but you have to understand, I have crazy
you just hates SCP.
That too. Obviously.
But yeah,
right,
none of SCP, we know why you're really here. It's time for the comment reading, right?
Yeah. The most important part of the channel.
Most important meal of the day, serving it up Gary's way.
Is that from SpongeBob?
Yeah.
George Foster says, "Holy shit! I watched the first episode in February and finally have caught up. My main recommendation was
British.
Because his name's George Foster.
Fair enough. Sorry, George.
My main recommendation was going to be 5031.
I like how you became more British.
I'd recommend the Serpent's Hand file on 426. Hello, I'm an Eldritch Horror, or SCP-010-J. What Keter? I don't see any Keter. Thanks, Tanhony and Darnell. Keep it up,
Should have been nice. Oh, he said keep it up, lads. Yeah, he's probably British.
I told you he's British. You can just tell with some people. You just know. It's my British radar. That's how I detected
this guy. Darnell judges by cover. He instantly regrets it.
JTKC writes, writing this comment from the afterlife.
I have a British accent, but I was raised in America. So you see, you should never judge someone by their cover. Because they can really surprise you.
What color? They're the same color.
Cover. I said cover.
Oh, cover. JTKC says, writing this comment from the afterlife, by the way. Cool stuff this episode. I really love discovering SCPs. That's the podcast name. And listening to you guys react to some of my favorite SCPs while pointing out new details. What are your guys' thoughts on the 6,000 contest? My favorite was Avalon. I didn't read any because of
Dola has no
What about you?
Yet. I also don't have any thoughts. I wasn't really around during the contest. I've checked out some of the winners, of course. I like them. They're very interesting. I don't think I would have won if they were around during the 5,000 contest.
Fair enough. Comedy Man Kelp says, when Discovering SCP gets 1,000 subs, they should celebrate by executing every SCP wiki author one by one, finally freeing me and countless others from the shackle of the wiki, and allowing us all to get jobs and girlfriends.
So yeah,
actually, that sounds based.
A guest on the SCP the 1,000 subs episode. We're happy to have you.
Cactus will be alive. He will help us with the execution. He'll be one of the only ones spared. He'll be the Judas of SCP. He'll sell the other ones out.
Stop to tears on the cheek.
Boris WW says, for every like this comment gets, Tanhony will say an SCP hot take. So got 3 likes, so you have to give us 3 hot takes.
What? I never agreed to this.
Yeah, but it would be funny.
How many fucking hot takes?
You did. Dude, I think he means like more in lieu of your Twitter hot takes, not like real ones.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't ready. I wasn't expecting this. I can't even see Boris's comment. Are you sure you said that? You're not making it up?
What the fuck? You think I made it up? It's right here.
You're gaslighting.
Alright, here, how about this? I'll keep reading the comments.
I'll have them by the end of the comment reading.
Gotcha. Samuel Tan. Hey, I know that guy. Tan. I'm sitting here still waiting for 3125. Maybe it'll suck you into the other anti-memetics tales, lol. Have you seen the yellow sign says, To cheer Tanhony up, here's a probably funny description. The figure seated on a large boulder at the foot of a rounder tower was that of a broad-shouldered, deep-chested, strong-limbed, frank-eyed, red-haired, freckly-freckled, shaggy-bearded, deep-voiced, wide-mouthed, large-nosed, long-headed, bare-kneed, brawny-handed, hair-legged, ruddy-faced, sinewy-armed hero. Edit. Hey, Anomalous. If the sick one and the demonic one read this comment, can you replace the SCP logo with the Pride SCP logo and write featuring Dado on the screen? It's up to you, Anomalous. You can do that if you want.
If you want to, you can do it, I guess.
Yeah, optional side quest.
What will he give Anomalous if he does it? We'll give you +2 boots of holding.
Boots of holding? They're like bags of holding, but they hold your feet.
Foot in and your leg just keeps going.
Yeah, they make you shorter, so you're on my height.
These shoes were owned by the hero Darnell.
Shut up. Liza Mondragon says to Darnell, if you like romance, might I recommend 5232? It's a bit long, but a really good story. It was an entry for CupidCon 2021. Theme was romance, and the contest in general spawned a lot of great works with that theme. 5232 is just my personal favorite. Tanhony, put that on the list. I want to see romance. I like romance. I do. I'm not afraid to say it. I am afraid to admit all the quote-unquote romance anime I've seen that are just really trashy horror anime. They're not even memorable, I promise you. I have... No, well, yeah, that was on there, but like there was a time in middle school where I was into romance, so I would just... I was exactly the same. Yeah, I would just browse whatever was on the romance category, and there were so many garbage harms I don't even remember anything about that, like, have polluted my scene list. And it's a damn shame. Dinotail says, okay, either I'm stupid or your friend does a really good impression, but I genuinely thought Cactus came back. Tanhony and Darnell, if you met 3740, what would call yourselves? Personally, I would be called Talus, the Dino Rider.
I'd be called Tanhony, the Desecrator of the Earth.
I'd be called Sex Havard, the King of Weed.
No, actually, I'd be called Yash, all caps.
Langland says, I've seen people criticize 5031 for not having drama or basically being just a straight line of progress. To that I say that drama is the initial hesitation to mess with a murder monster, as Darnell demonstrated. That hesitation is what the researcher challenges at the start, and they succeed at showing why the previous researcher made a mistake. Plus, if you want horror, you can think about the fact that 5031, with the mind of a baby or a toddler, had been trapped in an empty room for years. All that time, it was screaming from boredom and hunger. So yeah, you can probably tell I like 5031 a lot, though I do understand how it seems kind of Mary Sue-ish, but it doesn't bother me much because it just seems like an anomalously fast learner. I don't really know if you can necessarily have a Mary Sue in that type of deal, though. You know what I mean? I don't, like...
You did use the word Mary Sue in the episode.
I did?
You did.
In that case, I have egg on my face. But my kind of thought process with it is, like, it's sort of a one-off monster, you know? So, like, who cares? Not a one-off monster. No, hold on. This is the wrong way to word things.
This guy's losing it. He hates
you
SCP.
Put Darnell on the spot, and he's bad at wording things. My point is, it's not really a
takes while you're at it.
It's not like the protagonist of SCP. Yeah, it shows up one time, so it doesn't really matter if it's Mary Sue-ish. Because it's not like fucking Dr. Clef or whatever that shows up in every article ever for no reason. What? Oh my god. I don't even barely... You know what I mean, though, how there's, like, the OC doctors that appear everywhere, and everyone, like, trips over their dicks for them? You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But it's not like that, so it doesn't really matter if it's, like, a little too perfect. Plus, it's kind of... The whole... Plus, you focus less on the perfection because it's so different for the monster to be a good guy, you know what I mean? The focus is more on, like, how it subverts expectations rather than look how good the monster is at doing things. So it doesn't really matter that it's Mary Sue-ish, I guess.
Okay. He saved himself.
Did I make my point without getting cancelled? Or am I cancelled?
You were very far from the risk of being cancelled there if you didn't like the murder monster.
No, but I like the murder monster a lot.
Cancelled? The murder monster killed people?
Oh, no it doesn't.
You support that?
Roll Alva says, cool, nice.
Freakles
says, I know people probably just mean it's too skilled at everything when calling it a Mary Sue, but whenever I hear Mary Sue, I think of a character that's... Did I really call it a Mary Sue in the episode?
You did. That's why everyone's using the phrase.
That spawned all these comments. I think of a character that's just the author, but way cooler. I like the idea of someone making their self-insert a fucked up monster you can't look at, whose only method of communication is screaming.
That's me.
Banker Paul says, Hamilton Paul! So Anomalous has submitted himself to commands. Good to know. No, he hasn't. Anomalous is his own man.
We did previously in the episode give Anomalous a command minutes ago.
Alright, you know what? You can't...
That was in the same episode.
I don't have a good memory, okay?
It was minutes ago.
Shut up.
We gave him a quest.
Just shut up. Alright? You have to understand
this
the things that come out of my mouth...
Memories.
The things that come out of my mouth are like a gotcha. They're a random pool. They just come out spontaneously.
At 682.
Sometimes without thinking, okay? You can't hold me responsible.
Okay.
I mean, you can't. Never mind. I hate comment readings now.
He hates the viewers.
You have to understand, I got ghosted at my job like a little over a month ago. I have had no human contact for a month outside of Tan, so like my ability to speak...
you were implying something about me there.
No. So my ability to speak is a little out of whack right now, so you just have to bear with me, okay? Y'all have to bear with me. At Oxygen B says, maybe Darnell and Ham, I love how he says Ham instead of Hamilton, should co-author an SCP with Tanhony, who has experience. That way, you'll finally have an SCP on the wiki. Well, that's what we were going to do, and then we just never finished the last part of it. We were writing the Crystal Chicken together. Remember?
I do.
We just have to do the addendum. That way, edit, 5031 received 1,000 upvotes because it was that good. Short but good. Edit, Tanhony, we never viewed you as a godlike invincible figure. We viewed you as a figure who is a psychopath who has a gun to my head. Oh God, Among Us man. Edit. This was a pretty good episode. My personal recommendation for the next one would be or the I
don't know if he's joking.
I'm not reading the one he said.
I'll read it. Clef Eats Ask the Musical.
See what I mean? I was right about my point about the cleft dick suckery. The fact that article exists with that name means that God isn't real anymore. Sorry.
Never was. You've only got the devil.
God is abandoned.
And he's come to collect.
Liza Mondragon says...
Sorry, I just went into like an edgy DMC game there. I was about to say,
I'll fill your dark soul with lights!
I'll show you what real blood and guts looks like, Satan.
Oh yeah. I'm going to use this opportunity to advertise. If you love the way Tan gets all chuny with his settings, oh boy, we have a series coming up soon for you. Assuming everything goes well, there will be a tabletop series on the channel.
I thought you were more serious about it.
Sorry! No! Wait, okay, Anomalous, edit that out.
No, it's too late.
Anomalous, Anomalous, beat that part out.
It's too late.
I want to hear your mystery opening.
I was going to say, there was nothing I would like that matter.
Yeah, there's a tabletop series coming. Assuming everything works out and, everyone can record, we're going to record it for the channel, and it's going to be JoJo related. It's going to be me, Jack, who's been on the podcast before, and our friend Stigma, and Tan will be DMing. And it'll be over Discord, so there won't be anything to see but dice, so it'll probably be audio only. But it'll be a lot of fun. We do a little trolling. And also, I was going to tell you, Tan, Stigma finally finished his character, so all the characters are ready, assuming you approve it.
Wow. That's very interesting. I'm very glad to hear that. We'll probably be able to begin fairly quickly then, but the viewers don't want to hear this right now. They want to hear about SCP comment readings.
Liza Mondragon says, "Gasp! My two favorite skips in one episode. You have good taste."
Thank you.
A Bush from the island of Borneo says, "When or if you guys get to Series 7, you should definitely read 6599 Hog Slice! Funniest Series 7 article on the site. In the meanwhile, 5733 is a pretty good article I think Darnell would like. Also, would it be better for me to put my recommendations in your Discord, or is the YouTube comment section fine?"
We don't read them either way, mate.
Hey, I was going to say the YouTube comment section's fine, but I interact more in the Discord. Tan just occasionally blesses the mass with his presence and then leaves, but I'm very active on the Discord. That's the best way
I
to reach
read
me.
Everything on the Discord. I just lurk in my own Discord.
He is the lurker. Lurker King Tanhony. Wait, is that true? What do you think when people spend like very long amounts of time talking about you? Is it weird?
Let's comment.
Insert clever name here says, "Wow, we actually got 2 episodes in a row where Tanhony listened to recommendations. He truly is sick."
Exactly. The little effort I put into the podcast, I then just give to the viewers.
Hamilton says, cringe, cringe, based.
Thank you.
Thoughts, Experiments, and Other Stuff says, Upside Down, how the fuck did you know I was Australian? I don't know. Rather Unknown says, my idol and god, Tanhony, is sick. Truly nothing is sacred in this wretched abyss we call a podcast. Also, hi, Darnell. Edit, and then they timestamped something I said, and then said, also the second SCP is just Tanhony. I don't even remember which one was second. Was that
you don't even remember? Monster? You don't recall which SCP you read second on that episode?
No, I
can't believe it. It was God is Dumb by DJ Cactus. Did you notice I was stalling while I opened up the previous video to
Which
check?
one was that again?
There was the gullible guy. Hey!
Oh, yeah. The
hold on a minute.
What?
That's not me.
What?
Donald's was second.
Oh! It is you! Sorry, that took me a second. That is you.
It's getting worse.
You're him.
Stop.
Dude, I actually have memory problems. Stop bullying me.
New
this is a precedent!
Angle found.
Adrian Arena Adrian... Andre says, we're very proud of 5031. I am very afraid of Hamill now. AnAnomalousWriter says, he did the edit and he said it displayed my true power. P.S. Also immensely proud of 5031. Aren't we all? He's a good boy. And then lastly, the Haminator says, let's say that your subscribers at the time of this video is the Series 1 of subscribers. Once you go over 1,000, you'll go to Series 2.
I hate Series 1 subscribers. Everyone who comes to discovering SCP Wiki always thinks they're the best subscribers, like 079, 096, or subscriber 173, but I always found them to be lazy, not scary, and boring. Maybe after subscriber 1000 we'll finally have some good comments.
Thank you, Lan, for that. And now, Tan, can we get your 3 SCP hot takes?
I hate that you remembered that. First, SCP take. You need to all calm down a little bit and be nicer.
That's not even a hot take. That is like the coldest take on the wiki. There's drama literally every 2 days.
But
there's always a reason for someone to be mad.
They hate
no,
it's
cold.
Message.
That is like everyone on the wiki says that. Guys, we need to all just get along more. Proceeds to have drama.
Okay. Here's my other hot take. This is an actual hot take.
Right.
When people are... maybe I shouldn't say this is an actual hot take, actually. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Oh my god, say it! Coward!
When people... no, I can't say
it! Coward! Coward, say it!
I think there is a line between caring about the quality of writing on the wiki and being pretentious, and I think in some cases that line has been crossed, and it makes you look really silly. Because
I agree with that. That's a good hot take. That's perfectly reasonable.
I don't want to name any names, but I know who exactly.
Look, it's one thing to criticize an article to help someone make it better, but when you act like you're some sort of like big dick writer guy, like, oh, you are disgracing the wiki, then you're an asshole.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
And then what's your third hot take?
My third one. Tanhony's only number 4? Kind of cringe.
Alright, well guys, if you want to cancel Tanhony, his Twitter handle is...
You can't cancel me, I'm uncancelable.
His...
I'm a perfect reflector.
Oh my god, they can never cancel Dash K. I just realized.
You try to cancel me, the receipts just bounce back at you.
Yeah! His Twitter handle is @AnthonyShacklid. Go follow him for funny tweets.
Yeah, go follow
He's
him,
actually doing a roleplay thing right now where, like, alright, so there's a vote about a fisherman, and I swear, right now the leading vote is attack, which is stupid. We should all be asking about the sister, and I really need people to help me win the poll. I just realized the poll will be over long by the time this airs.
Yeah, there'll be an entirely different scenario by that point.
Fuck! But you should play along, it's fun, and I want to see how long he does it for.
I was bored in work, so I started doing it.
Yeah, total quest format, I love it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I was a mess, please forgive me. And I wanna establish that even if I said last time that the one was a Mary Sue, I feel like I also said I really liked it, and I do stand by that.
The logic is everything, Darnell. But I'm just a man, so I don't have to.
Didn't I say I liked it? Because I really did. The Another Murder Monster. I liked it a lot. But sorry if I made anyone upset by that. I probably just tossed out the thing half jokingly without thinking about it.
They were weeping and gnashing their teeth in the comments.
It felt like it a little bit, but yeah, you have to understand as this comment reading showed that I don't have a good memory. It's really bad.
He doesn't even know who I am anymore.
Tanhony is the only thing I know anymore. He's kind of erased all my other.
It's like Memento. I'm the only constant.
Damn, I haven't seen Memento. We should watch that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not even really accurate to Memento, but...
We also have to watch Saw 2 still, because we saw Saw 1. We do.
Absolutely.
And we have to watch Bungo Stray Dogs after this recording.
We do.
And we have to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! X.
It's not happening. Thank you for listening, everyone. The episode ended like 5 minutes ago. Bye!